Hey, amazing one. Welcome to the Healing Artist Show. It's me, Sherita Sparrow, the Feathers Touch, with the Feathers Touch, but also known as the Healing Artist. And we are on today's show, and we are talking about the most horrible thing my art professor said to me that I will never forget. All right. Yes, the most horrible thing my art professor said that I will never forget. Okay. And I'm going to share that with you. But before we get into that, I just have a quick question. I want to know, have you ever had someone who has made it their duty to rain on your parade? Okay. Have you ever had anyone who's made it their duty to rain on your parade? And what I mean by that is that you may have some event coming up, you may have come up with a new idea, or you may have a new passion project you're working on, and you share it with this person and you're excited about it, right? And for some reason, this person is like, they're either rolling their eyes, like, oh my goodness, here they come again with this other idea. Or they may say, what makes you think this is going to work? Or the last thing didn't work, or the last idea you came up with, it didn't work, or you're never going to be able to do that. I don't know why you're even trying it, right? So have you ever had an experience like that where someone basically just wanted to basically stump all over your dream? Okay, they just wanted to stump on your dream. Have you had that happen? If so, I would love for you to just drop right into the comments and share. Say, yes, that's happened to me. Let me know from your perspective if that's happened to you. All right. Because I'm going to share with you my own personal story. Right. So let me paint a picture for you and share with you a time where I had someone who happened to be my art professor decide to basically stomp all over my parade. Okay. And rain on my parade and stomp all over my dream. So basically, what happened was I was in my second year of undergrad, and I was going to school to become a graphic designer. Okay. And the assignment was to create a magazine cover, but we had to use a grid. So when we look at magazines today, I'm just going to give you a quick graphic design tutorial real quick. When you look at magazines today, you see magazines everywhere, whether you're at the supermarket, whether you're at the bookstore, or you're in the doctor's office, you're going to see a magazine. Okay. And when you look at magazines, we don't really think too much about how the cover is actually put together. And we really don't think about how the inside of magazines put together. We're just picking it up, looking at it, and reading the pages and flipping through the pages. But there is actually a strategic process that graphic designers go through when creating a magazine cover and also the layout of the magazine. So here's my quick tutorial just to kind of give you an idea of what I mean by this. Okay, so when you take a look at this magazine Empire, you see large letters, you see small letters, you see letters along the side and at the bottom, and then you have this picture right in the center. Now, believe it or not, this magazine was strategically thought out. Okay, the words are not just randomly placed there. It was really thought out. And if you look at it, here is the grid. Now, grids are usually a little bit more advanced. So there's a little bit more, vertical lines and horizontal lines. But for this purpose, I just wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want to make it too busy. And basically, you'll notice how all the words over to the left, they fit within a box. And then you see some words over to the right that are fitting inside of a box. And then also you see like the majority of this person's face fitting in the center. So this is what the grid looks like, and this is how graphic designers mostly design their magazine covers and also the inside of the magazine. Okay, so that was my quick tutorial just to kind of give you an idea of what the assignment was that my professor had given us. So basically, I had to design a cover, a magazine cover, and I had to use the grid. And of course, me as an artist and also as a creative, I decided not to use the grid, right? And I designed my magazine cover without the grid. Okay, so I basically just put the words and, picked out my colors and figured out where I want my images to go. And I placed them where I wanted them to be. So when it came time for the professor to walk around and to check everyone's grid, um, he came to my uh, computer. He sat down and he started to press the button because there's a certain button we can turn the grid on, you can turn it off. And you press the button to see the grid show up over top of the magazine cover. And when he pressed it, nothing happened. There was no grid. So he looked at me and I looked at him. And it was kind of quiet for a little bit. And he said these, I think it was 6 words, 6 or 7 words. He said to me that I'll never, ever forget, and that I've never really shared this with anybody until tonight. He said to me, "You'll never be a great artist. You'll never be a great artist." That's what he said. And when he said this in front of all the other students in the room. He yelled it at me because he was furious. Okay. It was almost like he had smoke coming out of his ears. Okay. He was absolutely mad at me because I did not have a grid with my magazine cover. And so when he said to me, "You'll never be a great artist," it kind of took me back for a moment, and it felt like he basically just like stabbed me in heart, because art is everything to me. And that's the last thing I would ever want to hear. So, I processed it for a little bit, for a few moments, and then I shared with him what I thought. And I expressed that, what, a grid doesn't determine whether I'm going to be a great artist or not, and that I am going to be a great artist. Okay. And I don't need a grid to determine that. So, of course, he got even more mad because he wasn't expecting me to come back with something. And I said, "You know what? Why don't you check my magazine cover?" And I'm pretty sure everything measures up. So he checked it. He measured it with his own grid that he created, and everything lined up just right. Right? So, because I proved him wrong and I proved that I did not need a grid and that, you could still be creative and create something that's nice without a grid, he, got mad and stormed away and went on to the next student's computer. So, this is what I want you to take away from that moment. I want you to realize that as a creative person, it is okay to step outside the box and not to try to feel like you have to fit in a grid. Okay? When you step outside the box, when you remove yourself from all the limitations, that is where your creative flow is actually going to flourish. Okay. You'll be able to have more creativity. You'll be able to expand in your artistic gifts, and you'll be able to do more and be happier, right? And live a life that's more inspired. Okay. So it is okay to step outside the box. Okay. It is okay not to have to fit within the grid, because we're not designed to fit in. We're designed to, step out and, be outside of the crowd. Okay. We're supposed to like stand out. Okay? We're not meant to fit in. So it is okay. All right? Now, here is my thing that I really would like for you to remember. Okay? Remember this, that when you know your worth, no one can make you feel worth less. Okay? When you know your worth, no one can make you feel worth less. And so, in that moment, one of my professors said that you'll never be a great artist. I knew my worth. I knew who I was as a creative person, and I knew my passion for art. And so he didn't shake me. He made me step back for a moment because I was surprised that, a professor, especially my art professor, would say something so discouraging, right? But still, he helped me to kind of look at things from a different perspective. And that negativity that he was trying to reflect on me, I took it as my fuel to just work even harder, to try my best to be great. And if I wasn't going to get to greatness, I was going to get close to it. Okay? So use that as your fuel and know that when you know your worth, no one can ever make you feel worthless. Okay? Now, here is my life hack for overcoming any type of discouraging moments such as that. So, if anyone ever said to you, you'll never be great at this, or you're never going to be like this person, this person is doing this and they're doing that, and you'll never be able to meet that expectation or ever be able to meet that level in life. If someone's ever said something like that to you, here is the life hack to overcome their discouraging words. And basically, it's their own stuff that they're reflecting on to you, okay? Because when you know your worth, you know it really has nothing to do with you, okay? So here's the first thing. What you want to do is you want to create your own philosophy. What is your philosophy as a creative person? Okay, your creative gifts, your special gifts that you have, develop your own mission statement. Now, it may sound silly or funny or unnecessary, whatever you want to call it, but it really is necessary. It is so important because as creative people, we can easily be shaken. Okay. We are emotional. Okay. We thrive. That's where we thrive at, by connecting to our inner selves. Okay. So when someone says something negative, we may actually take it on as if it's true when really it's not. But when you have your own special philosophy as a creative person and you know who you are, you're not easily shaken. All right. So you first want to develop your own philosophy. Who are you as a creative person? How are you making a difference in this world using your creative gifts? And it doesn't matter if you are an entrepreneur, a holistic practitioner, an artist, an activity professional, a spiritual leader, whatever it is that you do, you want to create your own philosophy. Okay. Once you have designed and created your own philosophy, you now want to embody it. Right? You want to embody this new philosophy that you have, and you want to know your value. After you know your value, you want to be able to state it so that when someone comes to you and they start talking crazy, okay, and they start trying to tell you you're never going to be able to do this or you're never going to be great at whatever it is, then you can state your value to them, okay, and mean it. Mean every bit of it, okay? So that is what you want to do, all right? So first is to develop your philosophy, know your value, state your value, and mean it. Okay, because you are valuable, you are more than worth it. All right, and you need to be able to stand in that with confidence. Okay, so if you want to learn how to create your philosophy and to really stand in your truth, then I would love for you to schedule a free breakthrough call with me so that we can get the ball rolling for you. All right. And make sure that you join my free Facebook group. It's called Rise Up, Speak Up, and Create. Reclaim your creative confidence. And this is really just all about you stepping into your creative power so that you can flourish in your purpose. All right. Now, when you start doing this, you're going to start shifting your beliefs about who you are as a creative person. And of course, you're going to start stepping into your power and flourishing in your purpose. Okay. All right, amazing one. It was fun being on here with you tonight. I always like to come on, just give you little snippets, little things that could, add more to your day, right? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to connect with you, hear your stories, and be able to chat and, you know, give you more tips or techniques. Next week, we're going to be doing something a little bit more fun, something more artsy, because of course I am the healing artist. So make sure you are on for next Tuesday, live right here on Facebook. All right, amazing one. It's always a pleasure to see you. And until I see you again, continue to create, connect, and inspire others. And I'll see you next week. Mwah.